What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here with your next brutally honest conversation. And as you can tell from the title of this video, I have two of the admins, or brainchilds, workers, if you will, from the No Dip League, aka NDL. I have who I know as Pickles. She'll can correct me here in a second. And also Qwerty. What's going on, Pickles? If in fact that is how I'm supposed to refer to you.
Yes, I prefer pickles. I'm known by pickles, and it's my daughter's favorite food. I think I actually go by pickles more often now than I do my own name.
I'm gonna have to come back to Pickles and your daughter in just a second. And Q, is it Qwerty or how do you pronounce this? I know it's the keybird, but I just refer to you as Q because I'm too lazy to try to pronounce your name. But how do you say your in-game name?
QWERTY, but everyone seems to have a different pronunciation, so it doesn't matter to me.
So I could go like B Dubs, like Buffalo Wild Wings, and call you Q Dubs for QW. No, not so
Go
much.
for it.
So I'm glad I'm able to speak to Q. It's been a while. Q and I go back to One Hive Prime days, and so let's lead into that real quick. We'll start with Q. Tell me about how you came across the game, like how you stumbled across it very briefly, what clans you've been a part of, a little bit of the life cycle, day in the life of Q, and then all the way up to where you are right meow on a cat drinking milk from a saucer nimbly bimbly.
Okay, so my friends used to play Clash of Clans back when only Apple devices could play it. It wasn't compatible with Android yet, and I had an Android at the time, and I was really mad because this game looked a lot of fun, and I couldn't play because it wasn't compatible with my phone. So I waited, and then eventually it came on the Google Play Store, and I was like one of the first people to download it, and I've been playing it for ever since, for about 4 years now.
That's a really long time.
Yeah. My first clan was this clan called Frodo the Guy. I used to think it was one of the best clans out there. Soon to come find out that there were better clans, but I didn't know that at the time. And then I left Frodo. I went to Pennington Mob, where I met Pickles, actually. I've known her for a little over a year now.
Oh wow! I didn't know you guys went back so far.
Yeah.
Yes. So from Pennington, I was a big fan of Jake from One Hive's videos on YouTube. I love Jake. His videos were awesome. So I decided to apply to One Hive, not even thinking they would accept my application whatsoever, but they did. And so I joined, was in One Hive Prime for about 9 months, was a co-leader there. And then as times got a little bit busier for me, I decided to leave One Hive Prime because being a co-leader was just a lot. There was a lot of work behind it.
There's a ton
And
of
I
work.
decided
Yeah, ton of work as a
Yeah.
leader.
So one of my friends, who's a co-leader at Six Schlitzes, texted me and he was like, "Why don't you come just join my clan?" And I was like, "Okay." So I leave Prime and I go join Six Schlitzes, where I currently reside.
It's awesome. You know, at the short time that I've been in clans with you or clan family with you, I've always had fun being in warring with you, and I always enjoyed the jabs you gave whenever I would stop by Prime to record a video. You'd always give me crap. You'd like, "Oh my God, it's Brutus!" I always picked up on that, and I loved it. But that's awesome. I mean, I didn't know that you went back so far with Pickles and Pickles. What about you? How did you pick up this game? And like just like Qwerty, where have you been and where are you at right meow?
Right, meow. I'm still in the Pennington Mob, but I started off with a same story as Qwerty. I did not have an Apple device, but my daughter did, however, and she downloaded Clash of Clans, and she was playing Clash of Clans. And pickles is her favorite food. Like, if she could eat pickles every day, every hour of the week, she would be doing that without monitoring her. So basically, she quit the game, and then it came out on Android. So I downloaded the game, and in her memory, named my account Pickles. And since then have made more accounts. So altogether, over the past 4 years, I've made 3 accounts. Starting out in a clan, I can't even tell you their name, but it was an international clan, and it was from a different country for the most part. So I really didn't get the swing of the game, and I rushed my base, and it was pretty terrible. And I ended up leaving that clan and going to a clan called Maven, where it was a bunch of old school players who the war scene had just came out. I had like 0 war stars, and we ended up keeping me out of all of the wars and making me learn more than war. So I continued having 0 stars for the longest time and catching up my base. And then they kind of did a partnership on season 1 of the CWL with Faked Wargasm.
Oh, wow.
And so I would go over, like some of our players went over there. R. Wade was one of them. And he would continue to teach me, and I'd go over to Faked Wargasm and teach me all these new strategies. And I got some of the coolest strategies from them. He still to this day helps me, and it's been years. And Maven ended up merging with Heroes Land, and a lot of our players went to Fake Wargasm for the CWL season, and then we were on the off seasons in Heroes Land, and then Heroes Land merged with Sanjana, and I got kind of tired of the clans merging, so I went actually looking and digging and watching YouTube videos, and at this point I was like a war monster. That's all I wanted to do was war and be in the wars, and I had 3 accounts that were war accounts, and strictly war, and didn't want to farm. I didn't want to do anything. So we ended up going to a clan called the Pennington Mob, and I have been there ever since with my Pickles account as a CO, and that's where I met Qwerty, and Qwerty like builds my bases. I'm going to rat him out. He helps me build my base. Well, he doesn't help me build my he builds them and sends them to me.
He does have some great bases. He does. I've stolen a base or two, 1 or 2 from him.
Yeah, and then I put my other accounts in different CWL clans. I had account in Pigeonisms. I've had accounts pretty much in every clan at some point because I like to get along with who I'm seriously warring with and on voice with and sketching with. Yeah, mostly I'm still in Pennington Mob though.
So there's a couple of things you said that like they're triggers for me. The first is what does Pennington stand for? Like I shouldn't say stand for. Where did the Pennington name come from? On Pennington Mob. What is Pennington origin of that? Do you by chance know? Is that a city or something like that?
I have no clue.
I appreciate the honesty. But there was a lot that you said, like Esjana, I'm familiar with them. We've warred them. I've warred against them before. It's a pretty good clan. Was this when they merged with Fake Wargasm in that time frame that you guys were talking about, or that you were talking about?
No, it was Heroes Land merged with Sanjana.
Okay. But was Forbidden a part of the Fake Wargasm family when you got involved in the Fake Wargasm family?
No.
Okay, so that was way before.
That was like way back in the day, like way before CW even it was invented.
Yeah, familiar with those names. That's why I was saying. I was like, holy cow, that's a lot. Your daughter. May I ask? I'll say it like this: I have an 8 and 10-year-old, as well as she's 1.5, whatever. That's the one that everybody hears in the background. So, how old is your daughter? Do you have one daughter or more than one child?
I have 2 daughters.
So you're just like
I have yeah, except for I'm probably older based on the ages. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 13-year-old.
Oh, well, I can wait for that because I think puberty is right around the corner for me, and I'm scared, Pickles. I'm scared.
Yeah, it was smooth sailing till about 14 with my oldest, and she's an honor student, and she's got a letter to Harvard right now. She's a really
congratulations!
Great student. Yeah, she got
huge.
Yeah, she's just a beautiful child, but it doesn't take away the attitude ever.
Well, I might be hitting you up for some advice here in a couple of years because we're about to go into war ourselves, home war.
Smack them with an ugly stick.
Well,
smack them all over the place with an ugly stick.
See, I already told them that they both cannot date until they're married, and that's how I'm going to get through the next 15 years. But
yeah,
you're like, yeah, good luck with that.
It's a whole different world because of technology and Snapchat and Facebook and all of these other things. It's just a whole different world, and it's a constant monitoring thing to keep on top of it.
Yeah, and I don't think you have any kids, right? Unless do you have a pet like an animal like a dog or a cat, and I don't mean it as a joke. I mean it came off as one, but I really don't. Some people view their pets like their kids, like straight up. Their dogs or their cats, they are their children. So I was just curious. Do you have any animals around the house? Do you have your kids of your own?
I'm sorry. I zoned out.
Nope. So cute. We're talking about the NDL, the No Dip League. What is the NDL, and why come up with the NDL? Because from the outside looking in, the NDL to me was something that came after the CWL season 1, or maybe didn't come to surface, at least to my limelight or my eye. I never really heard of it until middle towards the end of CWL season 1. So what is it, and how did it come to be? Why did the NDL come to formation? From your perspective.
Right. Let me answer this first, since I just embarrassed myself live. So Pickles texted me. I haven't talked to her in months, probably since I've left Pennington Mob, and she randomly texts, actually besides giving her bases, and she randomly sends me a DM through Discord, and she's like, all right, I have this new idea. I want to start this whole new league around the idea of no dipping. And from that, we were just like, all right, let's do this thing. So we started off from nothing. Nothing. We had a few people from Pennington Mob we had to help us, and we just built this thing from the ground up. We had so much support, and it's just been awesome. Our first major clan we got was Kronos. I shot their leader a DM, and I gave them this whole idea, and they automatically loved it. And then Kronos has been helping us a lot with the media advertising, and just because they're such a big name clan, a lot of other clans have come because they're in our league. So, and then from that, we just grew and grew. We've gotten more big name clans. We still expect to get more, and we're extremely excited for season 1 to take off.
So Pickles, why the NDL though? We see that how it came to be. We've seen other league examples really exploiting. Maybe exploiting is not the right way. Using the feature of which Supercell gave us within game, which is what we've been asking for years, with the ability to arrange wars on our own terms. They gave us that, and that gave birth to a whole new world of the war scene, competitive league play. And we saw the first, I would call it successful version of that, with in other leagues. And then the NDL came up, and it was unique. It had a very unique, specific rule, which is you can't dips. And what people, some people watching the video may not know what we mean by that. And what we mean by no dips is very common in war strategies. You'll see the Town Hall 10s hit up to the 11s and double them, and the 11s dip down, attack lower than their Town Hall level to bully, if you will, a Town Hall 10. And it's a statistics game. It's a statistics game and a war strategy, by definition, about the chances of being successful. And it's proven very successful in not just league play, but competitive war play along. So with this league, the rule is you cannot dip. So why this specific defining rule about this league not allowing any dips in it? Pickles?
Well, basically it came about the very first inclination that it would be a good idea was actually a clanmate of mine named Oski, who's a Town Hall 11. He pretty much has stopped doing wars. He's not doing anything competitively and trophy hunting all the time. And the conversation came up to Oski of like, why aren't you even, warring anymore? You're here all the time. And he said, I'm just tired of dipping. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. And so all the 11s started chiming in, and then the 10s started chiming in. And then I went to Finland, to Supercell, and we, as a team, because we did a live stream war, and as a team, I had 2 11s and 2 10s on my team, and they were like, I hate dipping. I'm just so tired of dipping. It's not fun. And, it's not challenging, all that kind of stuff. And so I kind of said, well, what if we didn't dip? And they thought it was a great idea. And I ended up scouting up from a Town Hall 9, scouting all the way up to the top 10, and having a blast. And they were miserable, So going on live stream for supercell, just scared out of their minds and nervous and having to, dip. So the conversation came up, I think, multiple times with the group there about what people liked and didn't like, what they were tired of, what they were tired of doing. And the general consensus is a lot of the 11s were tired of dipping on 10s, and the 10s were tired of cleaning up 9s. And as a 9, I play my 9 more than any other. I thought it would be fun to be able to scout up more. So the whole idea came from the community, basically, my friends, my clanmates. And then we ran test wars. We ran a bunch of test wars. I think it was like some 30 wars with a group of clans to see if the idea would even work and if it was even fun, because it's about fun. And they were having such a good time. They were shaking and nervous and just amped up because they knew that they couldn't have anybody come down and clean up for them. So, and then the test wars were over, and they still continue. The last 3 weeks are still continuing to do what they call test wars, even though we're not testing them anymore. They're still doing test wars. They're constantly in there going, I need a war, I need a war, I need a war. So it's just fun. It's really, really fun, and it's different.
You hit the nail on the head there. I know that when I came over to the server and looked around, I think it was you, Q, that invited me. You said, hey, check this out. This was actually while I was still in One Hive too. I know it was definitely around that time. You were like, check this out, and I looked at it, and I'm transparent, so I'll admit I was skeptical. I think you guys were doing test wars at the time to see how it would work out. I was skeptical at the time, but then I kind of saw the value in it with a little bit of when I got involved with 5v5 and 10v10 style matches, which also had the same rule, you couldn't dip. And I had a lot of fun. And this is coming from someone that I do feel that my 10v11 game is stronger than my 10v10 game, which is funny because the statistics of 10v11, I think league community-wise, is lower than 10v10 or something like that. So like it's not the norm, but it's a different mindset that you do. And I know that sometimes I get tired of having to hit up at an 11. And I really rather it really tests your ability as a player to go straight at your same level. I wanted to ask, lean over to Q. One of the questions I had was, what are a little bit about the rules besides the obvious one, you can't dip. One of the questions I was going to have is, what about scouting up? Are you allowed to hit upward? And I think Pickles already alluded to that, but that's going to happen. Are there any other rules about it? If I'll also make sure to put the link to the complete description and rules and things like that in the description of the video. But are there any other rules or high-level things that one should be aware of if they're interested in participating as a player or clan in the NDL?
Well, you pretty much covered the biggest rule we have, the no dips. And yes, scouting up is allowed. It's actually one of our most popular questions. One rule we do have is our leadership is actually different than what a lot of leagues have. We do clan ambassadors, which is basically a representative from each clan.
Wait, you're not the leader? The admins are not the Pickles at Q. You guys are not the leaders of the league, and all the other admins. You guys aren't the leaders.
We don't have admins. We call it staff, just to get away from that word, just because I feel like that word has been so corrupted. We do not lead the league.
Keep going, man. I absolutely love it. Keep going.
So clan ambassadors, one person from each clan comes to represent their clan and join our leadership team. And that's basically how all decisions have been made. And it's been super successful so far. Right now, we've actually had 2 investigations go on. We've had war whales wanting to join our league, and we've had golden goblins wanting to join our league.
No way, golden what? No way. I didn't know about that one. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's fine. So our the whole clan ambassador team came together. We investigated Herg, their leader, I'm pretty sure. We talked to him. He gave his side of the story. He gave why he thinks golden goblins should be in our league, why they are fair play now, and then we took a vote. All of us took a vote, and sadly, the vote was declined, so they will not be participating in our league. But we did. Our leadership team came together. We voted. It was successful, and everyone was happy at the end.
And not to speak for GG, but from your perspective, how do you feel that I already know how War Whales feels, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'll hand it over to Pickles in a second here. She'll explain why I don't think it went in a negative way at all. But how did GG react to the result of the leadership vote of, hey, we heard you, but no, we'd rather you not participate in this league this season?
They reacted surprisingly well. I mean, like, I didn't expect them to backlash at us, I guess, but they were just like, no, we understand. We understand that people are doubting us. We understand everything that's happening, and it's okay that you didn't choose us.
See, you know,
that was it.
So it sounds like it was less than toxic, is what I'm hearing. It would sound like a civil conversation that was had, even though it wasn't in their favor. And you know, and going to Pickles, why don't you explain? Not that I wanted the conversation to dwell on to dwell on this, but I think it's important to talk about. I didn't know about the GG at all. That's why I was shocked. I did know about War Whales, and I was really impressed with how it was conducted, which is why I wanted to talk about it. And I feel that these two conversations, tests, if you will, of the league's integrity, I feel like they already got tested in a way. I'm not saying it's perfect, but there was the first true test. And what was the reaction with the War Whale situation? How War Whales wanted to come over and compete in a similar situation. There was a council. Pickles, what was that all coming? What was War Whales' reaction to that?
I think if we were all in the same room, and this is 100% honest and accurate, I think if we were all standing in the same room, we probably would have hugged each other.
You know,
that's how nice and cordial, and they thanked us for giving them the opportunity. They thanked us for giving them, politeness and consideration and allowing them to at least speak their piece.
There's one thing I want to put closure to this and then move to the next one. I am a huge fan of this idea. I'll step on a soapbox just for a very little bit. And it'll lead me into just one specific question I have. This game about being fair play, I in my own humble opinion, I think no matter what you do, no matter what rule you establish, no matter what, you're going to have people that are, quote, closets. They're closet cheating, if you will. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that someone can put a guarantee word behind that is the developer. Rather than waiting for that or going down that conversation, you have what you have. You have your own ability, your own conversations, and your own execution of your rules and things like that, and how you conduct yourself, right? So we've seen one way that's happened, but I want to talk specifically from the outside looking in about the NDL so far that hasn't even started season 1 when these things happen. They, number one, said that the admins are not the leaders. They're administrators. They simply, we know they do a ton of work, so it sounds like an insult when I say this, but they're paper pushers. But in a way, they're completely removed from being biased on this, that they're basically administer a democracy or an idea of a democracy. And so when it came down to you want to play that you have against people that have the same trust, the same values, that you're basically selling trust to one another, that everyone's playing fairly. Whenever there was an indication that somebody wasn't playing with that same trust level that you're giving them, there was a group conversation where everybody had an equal seat at the table and were able to hash things out fairly as human beings. And at the end of the day, had a majority vote about everybody that was in the party, and nobody had something to gain. And I know some people might argue and say, well, War Whales is a tough clan, so of course they didn't want to let him in. But my understanding is they said that maybe next season they left that door open. It wasn't like a completely slam door to War Whales' face. They said, not at this time, not enough time has passed since the last incident that had happened recently, and there's no reason to drag that back out. But there was no shade, there was no outcry, there was no people excessive trolling. That's what I mean. It was like Pickles said that there was a sense of everybody would want to hug each other in the room. That is super encouraging for me that if I'm going to play and invest my time into a league, building a base, trying to crack a Town Hall 10, trying to figure it out, and not crack isn't cheap, people. Let's keep it real. I mean, like really planning a Town Hall 10. I mean, but it takes a lot of time to discuss that. If I'm going to give all my time into that, I want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals that treat me like an equal and that I can say what I want to say. And it still be received as we heard you rather than, oh, just do what you're told and sit down. So that was the impression I got by hearing how the Warwell's conversation, it's really not an incident, it's a conversation that happened with the NDL, the outcome, and then the reaction from the outcome was everybody kind of like shook hands and said, all right, we'll see you soon. And that same aspect happened with GG. That is really, really encouraging for this NDL, in my opinion. And I wanted to lead over back to Pickles. What is your stance on applying to the NDL? Because I truly don't know about if you have ever been a prior modder or history of shady clans or something like that. Is there anything like that written in your guys' application process?
Yes, it's actually in the rules. I think some people might miss it sometimes because it gets asked in direct message quite often to me. But it is leader accountability. If you're an ambassador, you're representing your clan, which means therefore you represent your players individually. Every master roster, every rule, and every clan vote or ambassador vote is transparent. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see how you voted. Everybody can see the master rosters. It's not hidden just to the staff. It's for everybody to see. So if a question is raised by another ambassador of say, oh, this player is, been banned in a different one or et cetera, whatever the accusation might be, it can be brought forth to the table just like War Whales and Golden Goblin was. So if your player is in your clan and you did not do your own background checking and you didn't check into it for yourself and you are not accountable for it, you're running a risk of having your clan banned.
I like that. Q, how long is the season of the NDL? When does it start? Are there any different brackets or anything like that?
Okay, so we have 4 divisions. And actually, we started out with 3 divisions, but because of the clan ambassadors and a popular vote, we decided to add a 4th division called the featherweight division, where it will only be 10s, 9s, and 8s warring because there were a lot of clans with Town Hall 8s that wanted to have their accounts in the league. So we have 4: pro league, semi-pro, amateur league, and then the featherweight league. The pro league will be mostly 40v40 wars. If decided on prior, could be 50-50, depending on whether the clans want that or not. Semi-pro will be 30v30s. Amateur will be 25v25s or 20v20s.
I remember being asked by my. I remember being asked by my clan ambassador because AintNobody is interested in the featherweight, I believe, and that was one thing I really liked is the fact that I'm being asked and pinged by my representative going, "Hey, we need to vote on the breakdown for this league. Do you guys want this, or this?" And I was like, "That's freaking gangster that we actually get a say at how we want to shape the league." I mean, I think that's awesome. And so the other part I had asked was, when does the season start?
Okay, so the amateur league will start June 16th, and then the semi-pro and pro league will start right after the end of the CWL Season 2.
Was there, Pickles, was there any other, I know that you guys have a team of admins. Was there any other names not on this call that you wanted to mention or give shout out to that we may have missed?
Definitely. There's a lot of people that have put so much hard work into it since the beginning. Like our media people was Cleric Dragoon, Mr. Clash Gaming, Shubaloo. He started streaming the test wars just to get a little bit of exposure. And then of course we have Gabe and Ken and Rig from By Forever. He's a staff member.
He's a new one, isn't he?
Yeah, he asked if he could be a staff member, and so the staff took a vote. And if it was not unanimous, of course, we would have kicked it to the ambassador group, to see if they wanted. But no, everybody wanted him in there because he's just a great guy. He's easy to get along with, and he's very fair play. We have William, who runs the Forums Cups, and he donated his server basically so that we could put the word out. Goatman from Reddit has helped us out. There's just so many people. Everybody, even including the ambassadors and the players, all deserve shout outs because they loved it so much that they were the ones out there spreading the word and being like, you guys have to do this. This is so fun. So we've had over 90 applications.
Holy cow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's really starting to hit the ground running. I know that from not only my clan, but like other clans that I've intermingled with and had acquaintances with. A lot of people are talking about this. Like, I don't know if you, I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've heard about it, but I just wanted to echo it even more. People that I talk to are talking about the NDL. There's a lot of hype around it. There's a lot of excitement about it. And, the one thing I really like about this, and I'll give you guys some softball questions as we end this out so you guys can get back to your personal lives. But somebody had mentioned that dips are just part of the game. Quote, part of the game. And this is what Supercell intended. And I paused at that and I thought about the No Dip League. And I was like, and I think about when I was in all the serious high-level competition wars you're in, think about the last hour. It's nothing but dips. And dips are not automatic either, but I mean it's almost expected. The true excitement, the unicorn in this game now is 11v11. And a lot of people want to see it. And a strategy is the only reason why we don't. So if you put the thought of an increased amount of 11v11 and 10v10 it just tickles me. Like I get giddy. I get giddy about it. Like, and I'm gonna be in that boat. I'm gonna be failing with a smile. Like, you know what? I can't hide behind 10v11, but that's okay, buddy. Like, I'm seriously excited, and I know that I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from a lot of other people here. So thank you guys for putting in the work into this, because I know it is. I know it's a ton of work to run it and administer it. And I know you guys grown quite exceptionally well and fast. So good luck to you guys with that. And was there, before I get into this, actually, let's get into the softball questions. So with Q, you have to pick 3, okay? Who would in the game, player-wise, because you can even pick the night mode, but what character in the game would you want to love, make some sweet, sweet, succulent love, marry, like, she wants to raise your children, born a bunch of hog riders, whatever, and then couch stomp, like straight up fuck your couch. So love, marry, and fuck your couch.
Where the hell do you come up with these questions?
I tried really hard to come up with a good question, man. Thank you.
Oh my god. I wish you would have warned us about these.
He's got like the rules next to him. Okay,
He's
section
so red
4
right now.
answer is what a personal joke question. Hip hop anonymous. He gets all the easy ones.
All right. So I would definitely marry the archer because she's just so hot.
The archer queen.
Yeah, not the archer queen, the archer.
Okay.
I would definitely have to have sex with the Valkyrie, because
Because she's a redhead or what?
I mean, the clothes she wears is just enticing.
She's a ginger ninja in lingerie. Watch out.
And then what was the last one?
Who would you fuck your couch?
Oh my god. I would have to say the witch.
F your Larrys. F your Larrys. F your couch.
Oh my god.
What about you, Pickles? You make sweet love, become married to,
boy.
and F your couch.
Okay, I'm going to go the married one first because I think marriage material wise, it would probably have to be the giant because I can outsmart him because he's dumb. And He's big enough to protect you and smash some heads in. So that's marriage material as far as characters go. Get funky with? That's a good question because the goblin's just gross. And I'm not into chicks, so I can't pick a chick.
Well, I mean, you could, but you wouldn't be picking it for you, so.
Well, I'm going to go with Gollum because he's always hard.
Oh my God. That's a good one. Let's just look. I got to. For those that did not hear it, please go to Buy Forever Show. Listen to the last podcast. Pickles is on it talking about the NDL with her significant other. Am I correct in assuming that that's your significant other, right, Pickles?
Yes.
All right, and so that's the lead-in. Here you are talking about marriage material. He's got to be dumb. Strong but dumb, and then who do you need? But always hard. I need someone that is dumb, protective, but always hard. Okay, I'm good. So I think you guys,
I'm in trouble
you
now.
enjoy your dinner
fun.
party.
Oh my God.
Oh geez, yeah, we're meeting with the town pharmacist. He owns all the businesses here, so he's gonna have to put on a pretty face for that.
You might have to warn him about that because that's pretty funny. When I heard you say that, I was like, man, her man's gonna be mad. No, he strikes me as somebody who'll probably crack up at this. At least that's how he comes up to me.
Hysterically.
Well, I do appreciate you guys taking the time to answer some pointed questions about the league. I meant what I said. It's no BS. I'm very honest about how I was skeptical at first, but then super excited about it and really looking forward to the season. I'll make sure that any and all information related to the No Dip League, how to apply, Discord server, and things like that are in the description of the video. Make sure you check that out. I'll hand it over to Q first. Is there any final shout outs that you want to give before we close this out?
I'm going to give the shout out just because I know he's going to be harping on me if I don't. Jax from 6S. He's done so much work on the side. And he's actually the second person we just added in staff today. So thanks a lot, man. You've been doing great, and we love your help.
Congratulations, Jax.
Thanks.
Pickles, what about you? Any shout outs? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, definitely I want 2 shout outs. One is to Ken, our clan leader at the Pennington Mob. He is like the ground for me. He brings me down to earth and he talks reasoning into me when I get upset. And he's always there for me and Qwerty. And of course, my significant other, I'm sorry about the last thing I said.
I'm going to retell this story to my wife. She's going to crack up. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate the conversation. We'll give you guys some moments back in your afternoon so you can do your personal lives. Once again, it's Pickles, Q, and Brutus reminding you you're going to be better than a double, and we will check you next time. See you guys.